Belts are fastened. Lou Williams for the win. Bingo!
Oh my goodness.
By Landry, Ariza drop down. Kobe! Oh! Up high! Down hard! Kobe Bryant!
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Kawhi aggressive to the rack.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another post-game live here on Dime Dropper for the 2024-25 season. Before we get started, you already know the drill. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube and you hit the notification bell so you know every single time I post a video for all things LA sports, LA basketball, mainly LA Clippers, and of course, all things NBA. And you can follow your boy on social media at Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Dime Dropper Pod. And you can also listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I had a guy comment on the last video and was like, I thought it was going to be highlights you were playing. I'm new to the channel. I didn't expect to be looking at your face for 37 minutes. I obviously could play highlights for you guys. I probably will in some different kinds of videos, but as you know, I get demonetized if I do that. And this was initially a podcast that I created that I eventually put on YouTube. And then I became more known for the YouTube video side. So yeah, unfortunately, in the post-game lives, I won't be including highlights until I get to a point where you guys are sending me so many super chats that I don't give a damn if I get demonetized because you still are giving me money. But I don't think I'll be able to do that for a bit. But I don't know. That's the first time I've ever heard that. Anyway, live from Los Angeles as always. Super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. Any donation is appreciated. Tonight, we got a Clipper game to talk about, a one that occurred on Wednesday night. And then I did say I would be doing a Laker check-in. I did watch two more Laker games. They weren't from this past week, but they were when they were hitting their good stretch. And Edwin didn't touch on them on the latest episode of Basketball and Figueroa, which you guys should all check out, by the way, talking about the most recent Clipper and Laker games. And we also talked about Pat Riley's statue. We talked about Paige Beckers and the Sparks not being able to land the number one pick that was going to be her, which is absolutely devastating. And all that good stuff. We also got into a heated debate about who's a better Laker between Shaq and LeBron. Yeah, he actually debated that, which I can't even understand. So check that one out. But I'm going to be talking two Laker games after this Clipper game. But let's talk about this Clipper game. It was that game we've been waiting for from James Harden. Before the season started, I said, I was thinking in my head, there's going to be those games where James just drops 40 and everyone's going to be going crazy about him. And I'm going to be like, oh my God, but it's going to be good for the team. We haven't had any so far this season, and he's not been shooting well. But I have said, especially on Locked On the last week or two, that his scoring is starting to come back, it seems. He's starting to ease into things. He's starting to find his shot. And I said on Locked On Clippers today, the Wizards are the worst defensive team in the league. Maybe James Harden can have that night. And boy, did he have that night. His highest scoring game as a Clipper, 43 points, including a nuclear 23-point first quarter, with a lot of his shots coming off his patented side steps three ball or step back three ball, hand in the face, don't matter. When he made that last one with two guys all over him, I was like, or when he walked into two guys, I was like, oh my God, he is scorching hot. He was even able to get some layups and was super aggressive getting in the basket on those pick and rolls. The rookie Alex Sarr was playing drop coverage. And to be honest with you, he was, no problem for James. At times, he didn't even help. So it was like James was going into a layup line. And I just thought the clear intention from James in the beginning of the game was to put Jordan Poole in the action. Jordan Poole was a little bit questionable in this game or for this game. He starts putting him in the action, and the Wizards were scared to switch Jordan Poole on a James. They were hedging and recovering, and they were doing it even at half court when James was getting the screen. They did not want him to do anything, so it gave Chris Dunn, even Zubats at times, opportunities in the short roll. They made really good reads out of it, and I thought Derrick Jones Jr. got the party started really well with a couple of nice passes, even one super athletic up, that kind of like Jordan-esque up and under finish that he does one-handed is super impressive. But some really good short roll stuff out of Chris Dunn and out of guys that were guarded by Jordan Poole because they were really not trying to switch that action. And then when Corey Kispert came in, James Harden was licking his lips like, oh my God, I got food on the table. And he was barbecued, absolutely barbecued. So 23 points for James Harden in the first quarter. I thought Ivica Zubac was also excellent in the first quarter. Chris Dunn active defensively, but it was the James Harden show. And after one quarter, we led 37-26, 23 of those points by James. And, as I said, he's been overdue for that kind of game. We were talking about it in the comment section, not the actual comment section, the live chat portion of one of my lives recently with, when was the last time he had a 40-point game? Bones got busy. I know one of my mods is in here. Let me know, when was the last time James Harden had a 40-point game? Can you let me know that? I'm not ready to say that this was his best game as a Clipper. I'll look up some other ones because I think that Indiana game last year comes to mind. And then, of course, games 1 and 4 of the playoffs against the Mavericks. Because, yeah, this was his highest scoring game, and we haven't seen this kind of a flurry from James in a while. But he's also playing against the worst defensive team in the league in the Washington Wizards. Kevin Porter Jr. on the more negative side of things, I thought he was pretty ass. Got a couple of turnovers, took that stupid leaner floater that he takes that I just don't like, and it feels like it never goes in. I'm not a huge fan of that shot. Don't really have much to say about him defensively, but that was like right when he came in, I felt that way. Jordan Miller, 6 points in the first half, all coming in the paint. One thing about that guy, when he gets in the paint, he is a strong finisher, whether it's floater range or layup in the restricted area range. Such a good finisher with great touch. Terrence Mann, as far as his stint in the game in the first half, here's what I'll say. Defensively, very solid outside of the fact that he got beat backdoor one time. He forced 2 turnovers. Offensively, he does like a little move, but has no intention of going anywhere, and then usually passes or gets into a dribble handoff offensively. Doesn't really look at the basket and looks fairly frightened on that end of the floor. Frightened may not be the right word, but looks fairly hesitant on that end of the floor, and that's kind of putting it nicely. So I thought his minutes in the first half weren't great. I thought our overall bench minutes in the first half weren't great. I think Mo Bamba. Now, while we are 6-0 with Mo, that's fantastic, and I'm happy for him, and I think he's definitely a part of it. Maybe the pick and pop big thing with him is a little bit like oversold, meaning that maybe he's a fake pick and pop big. He was 0 for 4 from 3 in this game, and going into the game, he was shooting 27% from 3 in the 5 games that he has played. He did shoot 39% for the Sixers last year, which was a career high. But he shot well in 2022 from 3, 38%. And then in 2023, he shot 40% with the Magic. But in the 9 games with the Lakers, he shot just 31. So I'm guessing just given sample size, he averaged about 38. I don't know why ESPN doesn't just show me the whole freaking like overall year statistics. But fuck it, I'm on live right now, so it's not like I'm on Locked On. I can take a second to go check it out. All right, let's see what he averaged for the season since ESPN wants to be ridiculous. 39%. So there you go. He's shot pretty well from 3 the last 3 years. But I guess maybe I got to be patient. I just think I like what I'm seeing from him rolling to the basket more. Maybe he's a fake pick and pop big. I don't know. Or I could be being harsh. But I like what he's doing so far. And in this game, he was whatever. I don't think he's a very good post defender, but I can see why he wouldn't be. Like Jonas Valanciunas was low-key cooking him. And I don't understand how every time we play Jonas Valanciunas, he turns into Rick Smits. Like he just starts dominating in the post. And then obviously that one game I have a vlog of on this channel. Bones got busy. If you're in the chat, if you can find it for me. Thank you. May 7th, 2023, game 4 against the Celtics. He had 42 points. That was his last 40-point game, James Harden. He hasn't had a 40-point game as a Clipper, so I'm happy for him. It was a good job by him. But I also want to know, Bones got busy, if you can, with Mo Bamba. Oh, if you want to post the link of the vlog where Jonas Valanciunas turned into Dirk Nowitzki against us that game I was at, please go ahead and do that. But, man, he was cooking Mo Bamba. And as I was saying, I don't think Mo Bamba is a very good post defender because, like, he is kind of skinny. And people don't post up these days. So, like, why would he be a good post defender? Zoo, one thing about Zoo is he's starting to make all the right reads in the short roll. I've been talking about it at length this year on Locked On and here. The game's slowing down for bro. He's starting to, see the open shooter in the corner. He's starting to see that, oh, let me hit him with a pass fake. I got a red carpet run to the rim. Oh, I got the push shot right here. He is doing a great job of seeing the open man, making the play. So I'm just really happy for Zoo. As far as the defensive side of things, I thought James Harden was pretty dog shit outside of one solid stop on Poole. There were possessions where we're just so lucky that the Wizards are bad because there were like scrambles on offensive rebounds where Harden was literally just walking around. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this is insane. Thankfully, he was going off so much offensively. And I'm going to talk about that with LeBron on the other side of things. I was almost going to say across the hall, but in downtown because similar tendencies. But I thought his defense was pretty bad. But again, when he played so well offensively, I'm not trying to be too critical. But overall, Zoo and Harden were just killing it. Like the second that Zoo and Harden came back in, they restored order. There was a stupid foul at the end of the quarter by Jordan Poole at the end of the second, which gave us some even more momentum going into halftime after they had kind of cut things down. Even cut it down to 5, I believe, 40-45. But Zoo doing a great job finishing. James Harden doing a great job putting the ball in the basket. He had 28 points in the first half. In the second quarter, the Clippers were actually only outscored the Wizards 24-18, but that 18 is something I really like, locking down. And yeah, granted, the Wizards are the second worst offensive team in the league, but shit, we've been a good defensive team against good offensive teams. So the score at halftime, 44-61, and we kind of cruised from that point forward. Outscored the Wizards by 2 in the third and outscored them by 6 in the fourth, successfully giving no quarter. We left that slogan behind in 2023, but I'll take it. 121-96 win for us. 2 straight threes from James Harden in that third quarter. Amir Coffey had some good finishes on the break, but didn't give us much in the half court. And then Zubats just continued to be dominant. I would even say Ivica Zushak tonight, finishing in the low post, showing this touch with both hands, getting deeper post position, deeper catches around the basket, finishing on the short roll, finishing on the regular roll, putbacks after getting an offensive rebound, doing it all. And in the first quarter, he shut off the rim completely. That's what set a defensive tone for us. Yes, we have Chris Dunn and Derrick Jones Jr., but Zubats completely shut off the rim because Alex Sarr, he's not really scaring anyone with his 3-ball. He's shooting really poorly to start off this year. I think he's got really good potential. Like he's got great mobility at his size and his form looks good. But so far this season, he's shooting 38% from the field and 24 from 3. So Zoo in drop coverage is going to have no problems letting him shoot. So we were doing that. It was no issue. And yeah, Zoo was shutting off the rim. Every time, they have no in-between game, the Wizards, for me. They have no in-between game. Every time they got to the basket, they got contested heavily by Zoo or blocked. And, well, Zoo had 1 block, but he's changing so many shots. And, yeah, it was pretty easy. I thought Chris Dunn did a great job of, getting his hands in the scrum and loose balls. He did such a great job of coming out with them. And then some garbage time highlights. Terrence Mann, the last couple of games, when the game's already decided, this guy starts going off, turning defense into offense, getting out on the break with Jordan Miller. I think Jordan Miller had some great plays, showing some playmaking chops as well, which makes you think when Kawhi comes back, Jordan Miller in the rotation over KPJ, or when Norman Powell comes back, Jordan Miller in the rotation over KPJ, or over Terrence. I don't know. And then Bones Highland got into the act with 3 3-pointers and a crazy alley-oop from beyond half court to Kai Jones. So some fun stuff from Terrence, Jordan, Bones, and Kai in those garbage time minutes. But the Clippers winning it 121-96. Good bounce back win over the Wizards after losing to the Boston Celtics. And on this current road trip, we still got one more stop against the Minnesota Timberwolves, but we are currently 2-1. Minnesota will be tougher on Friday. It's on ESPN, but we are at the 20-game mark, and we are 12-8. I have to say, I did not expect that. I thought if Kawhi hadn't played a game, we'd be like 7-13, but also we've had great health outside of Norman Powell. I've been super impressed with Norm himself, with Zubats, Chris Dunn. James Harden has been exactly what I thought he'd be. But to be honest, I think he's just carried himself with an even higher level of professionalism that I even thought. Although I've never thought he was. Yeah, I mean, he's unprofessional when he wants out, but when he's happy somewhere, he does his job. He clocks in. He's consistently available. So to be honest, I haven't been impressed with James Harden, and that's not to knock him. It's because I know what he can do. I'm very familiar with his game. I think it's everybody else that's impressed me, to be honest. And the defense has been even better than I thought. But James has had to lead the ship. And I think a lot of people outside of Clipper fans and James Harden fan boys and girls were sleeping on his ability to still floor raise as if they didn't watch the playoffs. You know what I mean? He still can get a lot out of very little, but I think we've gotten a lot out of our role players as well. Coming up, going to talk about those role players by reading the stat lines, examining the box score, and the individual performances. But first, a word from Mint Mobile, who this video is in partnership with. Super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime, baby. Actually, give me 1 second because I got a little new thing for you with Mint Mobile. Clipper Nation, let's throw some W's in the chat. How about them? Some W's in the chat. Wow, look at this. Marcio Alexandroni, shout out from Brazil. Love your vids, bro. Wow, thank you so much, man. Shout out to Brazil, the kings of football. All right, now a word from Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile, you're crazy. Bones got busy. My audio people are probably like, dude, get to it. All right, Mint Mobile, who this video is in partnership with. Ever wanted to cut down on your monthly bills? I have, and I've had some trouble with it lately. But this is why I'm so intrigued by Mint Mobile, who this video is in partnership with. They offer premium wireless for $15 a month. I can get high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. I can even bring my own phone along with my current phone number and existing contacts, so I'm sacrificing nothing. Big Wireless wants you to think it's hard to switch, but it's not. I've used Mint Mobile, and I can tell you that switching is super easy. Thanks to digital eSIM cards, which most phones now have, you can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. If your phone doesn't have an eSIM, Mint will ship you a new SIM card for free. So if you want to save a little money without the sacrifice, go to the link in the description to get premium wireless for just $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. The link is also being shown on the screen. And right now, for new customers, Mint Mobile is offering buy 2 months, get 1 month free on their best-selling 3-month 5 GB plan, only available for a limited time. Be sure to use code FREEMONTH in all caps at checkout to get the discount. That's Mint Mobile. All right, back to it. Live from Los Angeles. Clippers beating the Wizards 121-96 in the Capitol. Let's read the lines for this game. I mean, do we even want to read anything for the Wizards? Are there other players relevant enough? I mean, we should probably do a check-in on them because I love my boys over in DC and the DMV. Shout out to my boy Chris Aviles if you're listening. My boy over from UMass. I'll give these Wizards a shout out, looking at his players a bit. Jonas Valanciunas had 17 points and 7 rebounds on 7 for 11 shooting, 3 for 4 from the foul line in 18 minutes. So 17 and 7 in 18 minutes, some solid production. Corey Kispert, I mean, the guy can really shoot the ball, but defensively, I don't know if he's a cone because he can't guard James Harden. I mean, James Harden's tough to guard, but he doesn't necessarily strike me as a good defender. Maybe that's just me being anti-white guy from Gonzaga. But, I mean, he's averaging 11 points a night, but he's shooting just 40%, although I would think that a lot of his shots are three-pointers. But, yeah. Then there's Keyshawn George, the rookie out of Miami, who was the 24th pick in this year's draft. He's not shooting well at all this season, but again, it's normal for rookies to be kind of inefficient. This game, he was no different, though. Just 2 points on 1 for 6 shooting. Sad to see what's happened to Marvin Bagley. He's like a bench warmer for a bad team now. So, like, he's barely in the league. 2nd overall pick in the draft. Went to Sierra Canyon. Sad to see that, man, because he was so good in college. The grandson of the great Pogo Joe Caldwell. Bilal Coulibaly was 1 for 6. Malcolm Brogdon was good. He was 8 for 11 with 17 points and 6 assists. Damn, Bilal Coulibaly had 3 points on 1 for 6 shooting, and he was minus 43. Seeing someone be minus 43 is kind of wild. Alex Sarr had 13 points and 5 rebounds on 5 for 12 shooting and 2 for 6 from 3, and he was a minus 35, had 4 turnovers. The Wizards as a team had 20 turnovers, and we had, let's see how many points we had off those. 31. So there you go. Taking advantage of their turnovers. That can really help our offense, which obviously struggles in the half court. Not against the Wizards, but we want to get as many easy baskets as we can. We shot 51% from the field. They shot 41%. We shot 36% from 3. They shot 24%. We shot the same amount of threes. They shot 33. I'm sorry. We both shot 33. They made 8. We made 12. They shot 82% from the foul line. We shot 76% from the foul line. We won the rebound battle 47-40. We won the assist battle 27-21. We won the steals battle 18-9. We beat them in just about every category. Jordan Poole also, it felt like he was literally point shaving. Like what he was doing out there on both ends, I don't know. He was so loose with the ball. Didn't even look like he was trying. 1 for 7 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, and had 6 turnovers and 8 points. He was bad. Then there's us. Bones Highland had 10 points, 2 assists, and 2 steals in his 8 minutes on 3 for 6 shooting, and all his shots were threes. So nice to see him getting double figures. Kai Jones had 4 points and 2 boards to go along with a block on 2 for 2 shooting in 8 minutes. And then the guys that got real rotation minutes, we had Derek Jones Jr. with just 18, 6 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Did have 3 turnovers, though, but was very good. A plus 18. He was 3 for 5 from the field. He's been spectacular so far this season, and he just does it on both ends of the floor. Absolute bargain of a contract, in my opinion. And then you have Jordan Miller, downhill mill. I mean, he finds a way to get to the basket. And you know, one thing I feel he's very good at is turning the corner. You know, this is something that I struggled with and still kind of do, is turning that corner, getting into your defender and absorbing the contact, and then still having the balance to finish. Jordan Miller does a great job of turning that corner. He doesn't just pull it back out because he knows he's about to engage in physical combat like Paul George. And sometimes Kevin Porter Jr., he actually goes into the body. And one thing he just does a really impressive job of is hanging on that 1 foot like he's, balancing in yoga class or something and being able to get his shot up. He had 15 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. He did have 3 turnovers, though. But I think we're slowly trying to get him some more on-ball reps to make him a guy that can handle the ball and pick and roll, because we see that there's potential there. He shot 70% from the field, 7 for 10, 1 for 3 from deep, missed his 2 free throws, but 15 points in 20 minutes? Downhill mill, baby. He has been spectacular in these games without Norman Powell. Then let's talk about Mo Bamba. I mean, I thought he was okay tonight. 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, though. 2 for 7 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3. He was 2 for 3 from 2. As I said, maybe he's a fake pick and pop big. 2 for 3 from the foul line. I think 6-0 since we've played him. So keep it going, Mo. Then we have Amir Coffey, who was on the quieter side, but I thought his defense was solid. Of course, his off-ball defense and his ball denial has been excellent all year. No different in this game. 6 points, 1 board, 2 assists, 2 steals. No turnovers, though. He and Chris Dunn and Batum and Kai Jones and Mo Bamba and Bones Highland and Terrence Mann had no turnovers. So it's nice to see multiple role players consistently now having no turnovers in games, because that was a big flaw for us early in the season, and we've cleaned that up a bit. It's led to some wins. But Amir didn't shoot well in this game. He shot just 2 for 8 from the field and 0 for 3 from deep. Made his only 2 free throws, though. So here's to hoping he can have a better shooting game against Minnesota in his homecoming. Because Amir, he went to Minnesota. Now, is Amir Coffey from Minnesota originally? I would think so, right? Let's double check that. Hopkins, Minnesota. There you go. All right. Now we go to Terrence Mann, who played 25 minutes, and I think he was okay in regular time, but very good in garbage time. 6 points, 4 assists, 4 steals, which was a career high, according to Farbad, our beat writer. And he was 2 for 5 from the field, missed his only 3, 2 for 3 from the foul line in 25 minutes. So Terrence Mann, I still need to see more from him in actual rotation minutes. But the good news is he's having stretches of play where he's gaining confidence, even if it is late in the game when it doesn't matter anymore. And that stuff is just, it should help his confidence. Then there was Nico Batum, who got 25 minutes, had some nice offensive rebound taps, had 3 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal, no turnovers, shot 2 threes and made one of them. And those were his only shots of the night. A very solid get in, make a solid impact on both ends of the floor and check out performance by Nico. He was a plus 18. The guy just helps you win games. Kevin Porter Jr. thought he was pretty shit. 4 points, 5 boards, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 turnovers on 1 for 9 shooting and 0 for 2 from 3. So I don't know, man. Jury's still out on him. We've given him 20 games. He's done a good enough job where he's played backup minutes and we're 12-8 and he's been a part of that. So let's just continue to see how he goes. This game against on Friday against the Wolves, I think will be big because if he doesn't play well, I think those cries of, get him out of the rotation are going to be a little bit louder. As far as the starters, Chris Dunn only played 20 minutes. He had a donut and didn't look too great offensively outside of those short roll moments, but defensively, he just does incredible work every single game. 0 points for him, 0 blocks and turnovers for him as well, and 0 made field goals, 0 for 2, 0 for 1 from 3, but he had 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals. And then you have Zushak, who was insanely efficient in his minutes, 18 and 16, dominating. 18 and 16 to go along with an assist and a block, just 1 turnover. So keeping that down is great. And he was 9 for 11 from the field. He was 11 for 14 against Boston. The dude is just super efficient and has such great touch around the basket. Career year Zoo, baby. And it's definitely in large part thanks to this guy who was my player of the game. One of his best games as a Clipper, if not the best. Comment section, let me know if you think it was the best game for James Harden as a Clipper. 43 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, and 4 turnovers on 13 for 22 shooting. The long-awaited nuclear three-point game finally came. 7 for 11 from 3, 10 for 11 from the foul line. He was my player of the game. Great win for the Clips. And it was James Harden's first 30-point game, let alone 40-point game. Last season, he never had a 40-point game with the Clippers, which was very surprising for me. Personally, if I had to put this game against game 4 of the Mavs series, I'd probably go with game 4 of the Mavs series because he had 33 points and 7 assists to go along with 6 rebounds in essentially a must-win situation and was 12 for 17 from the field and closed out the game against high-level defense. So for me, that would probably be the best game I think James Harden's played as a Clipper. Honorable mention, game 1 against the Mavericks in the playoffs, and that game, of course, against the Indiana Pacers, where we were scorching hot and he was doing the snow angels on the floor. Let's see how many points he scored in that one. I'm trying to look for it. At Indiana. Oh, there you go. 35 points on 12 for 16 shooting. Yeah, not for me. He was incredibly efficient, but I'm going to go with the game against the Mavericks, game 4. That's the game I'm going with. And as far as James Harden, just to close out the Clipper portion of this show, if you're wondering, how do you feel about James Harden? It's been a while now. Do you like him now? No, I'm still not going to like the way he plays basketball ever. And this is how you know it's bad on my part in terms of how much I dislike the way he plays. Even when he's hooping, I don't like it. I hate his process. Like, you should watch a game with me and just see how I react. But here's the thing. I'm not trying to influence anybody with my opinion. I try on Locked On, especially, I try to separate like how I feel with the objective analysis. You know what I'm saying? And the objective analysis is that James Harden is having a great season. He's been our MVP this season. He's doing great, a very impressive thing right now to have this team 12-8 through 20 games. And that's the facts. Do I like him? No. Do I think he's been a good Clipper? Absolutely, I do. I don't think Clipper fans should dislike him. I'm always just going to not mess with him because of things that are bigger than the Clippers, just basketball reasons. So in terms of like my true feelings, those mainly come in my end of the year video. That's when I pour it all out. But here I can be a little bit more candid and just say how I feel. Since we got James Harden, it's been an eye opener for me in the sense like you can't control the outcome of this stuff. Your least favorite player to watch might come to your team. And I've never felt since we got James Harden that the end of the season will end greatly. You can say I'm an asshole for that. You can say you're whack for that. You're a bad fan. It's not being a bad fan because I'm just being honest with myself. If James Harden was on another team, I would still be skeptical of him in the postseason at the highest levels. That's just how I feel. You know what I'm saying? We have ample evidence to back me up with that. If Kawhi comes back, depending on how Kawhi looks, this team can do some really great things. But I can't tell you, the honest fans of mine, my people, that I can be positive in the long haul about another season of let's hope Kawhi stays healthy. I think the last time I actually got like properly happy after a game, like, yeah, I can act happy or happy in the moment. I'm really happy that I get to talk to you guys. Like, this is I do what I love. Like, this is awesome. It's a great hobby of mine. And, you know, especially with Locked On, giving me the opportunity to do a job and talking about my favorite team. That's a dream come true. But the last time I actually got like for real happy about a win where I'm like, this season could end well, I feel like, you know, I could have the true feeling that a fan feels, was game 1 against the Suns in 2023. Since then, I've always had like this weird feeling in the back of my stomach. Like, I kind of want this to be over. And you know what? This season's been fun so far. I love our defense. I don't like our offense because it's James Harden, KPJ pounding the rock, but it is what it is. It's what we have to do right now. Our defense has been inspiring, though. I love watching us defend. I love going to the Intuit Dome. I love being a Clipper fan, and I love the fans. But that's just how I feel. And I felt the need to say that because I know I'm going to get questions like, James Harden's had this amazing game. He's been a great Clipper so far. How do you feel? That's how I feel. But he's been a great Clipper so far. Now, let's talk about the Lakers real quick. I make it my job to at least, and I think last season, Edwin and I, we covered every Clipper or Laker game just to some degree throughout the season. I'd have to double check if we missed any of them, but I still want to be able to give a breakdown on every Laker game that I can because it's been the fabric of my channel, and this is your hub for LA basketball. All things LA basketball. We are Dime Dropper, not Clip Dropper. So I haven't watched the Denver game. I haven't watched the Phoenix blowout, and I'm very excited to watch them, if you know what I mean. I also didn't watch the Dalton Connect Nuclear game yet, but I did watch 2 games that were very interesting against the San Antonio Spurs and the New Orleans Pelicans. But before I do that, I have to tell you a little something about DraftKings. The NBA season is back. A new season means new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and grabbing rebounds? Get behind your favorite players in the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. First time, new DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Every point counts with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code ABTV. That's code ABTV for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.com/bball. All right, let's talk about the Lakers. Now, I watched their game against San Antonio, and I thought it was, a very interesting game, also because San Antonio is interesting to watch. And I will be giving like my first quarter of the season breakdown on all teams very soon, probably at like the 25 game mark. But this was an interesting game. In-season tournament, Anthony Davis set the tone, though. And going into this game, AD was the second leading scorer in basketball after Giannis, who had that 59-point explosion. AD is peaking right now. Like, I've never seen him play like this. He has figured out his game. And this is why I'm really big on NBA players, like superstars, around years when they spend only like a year in college or high school, or come out of high school, like years 10 to 15, because it's when their skill matches up with their experience and their athleticism. Not athleticism, their skill with their like experience. Their athleticism might wane a bit, and that's the case for AD. But it's kind of like that 24 Kobe arc or that second tenure in Cleveland LeBron arc. AD, the way I see it is this. 2018, he was looking like top 5 player in the league status. 2019, when he was playing, same thing. 2020 as well. Then 2021, he kind of got complacent. He kind of got fatigued. That turnaround from the bubble into that next season was very short, right? It sometimes felt like he needed a bad game to have a good one. But in the playoffs, he was still looking pretty good. Then he got hurt. Following season, never got a chance to get a rhythm and wasn't too great when he played. Just a little banged up all season long. And then 2023, also banged up first half of the season. And then in 2023, second half of the season in playoffs, he's kind of figured out his game, which is, look, I'm not as good of a jump shooter as I once thought early in my career. I'm going to dominate on the inside. I'm going to be a guy that dominates on the roll. I'm going to crash the offensive glass. I'm going to try to get deeper post position and just dominate with a lot of my shots coming inside the key. And he is starting to not settle at all. When he gets smaller guys on a switch, he's catching it deeper and trying to put them in the rim. He's finishing strong on the roll, but his mid-range is also coming back a bit, and his 3-ball. JJ Redick said he wants him taking threes. Start a little cold, but with the increased volume, he's starting to find a rhythm, and he hit multiple in this game against the Spurs. But my thing is this. He's scoring on the roll. He's scoring on putbacks. When they switch, he's scoring on smaller guys. He's not taking possessions off. And that is why he is averaging 30. He is figuring out his game. Yes, his jumper is coming back a bit, but it's that aggression that's been so encouraging if you're a Laker fan. Dominant, just dominant. Now, LeBron going into this game had 3 straight triple-doubles. He had never had 4 straight. Well, he did it in this game. But I will say that in the beginning of the game, the Lakers were only up by 1, and that was after a late surge in the first quarter because he was passing too much. Like, he wasn't turning the corner. Like I was saying, Jordan Miller does a really good job of. He wasn't turning the corner. And to me, he was kind of hunting it. I'm not going to lie. He was kind of hunting it. But it didn't end up being detrimental in the long run. Max Christie, this is the game where he earned his minutes back. He had been taken out of the rotation. He came in, made a mid-range, and got a putback, and things started to get going. Hit a mid-range, hit a 3, played really solid defense, and ended up having double-figure points. 11 points for him to go along with 3 rebounds, an assist, 2 steals and a block, and no turnovers on 4 for 7 shooting and 1 for 3 from deep, and made both his free throws and got 30 minutes. So he played his way back in the rotation there. Lakers were up 68-60 at half, and the Spurs chipped away and made it a close game throughout. And by the way, Wemby had a 50-point game before this. 50-point game. He had a bunch of threes, and of course, just like James Harden, his best game of the season came against the Washington Wizards. They're just an unserious team. But Wemby was making a bunch of threes. In this game, he cooled down, but still had a great game. 28 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks on 12 for 25 shooting, 4 for 13 from 3, but he did turn the ball over 5 times. CP3 had a double-double with 11 points and 11 assists, And D'Lo coming off the bench. At this point, they were undefeated with D'Lo coming off the bench. 13 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals. Made some big plays in the fourth quarter in terms of scoring. And then Dalton Connect. He started in place of the injured Rui Hachimura, and I thought he was very good. 14 points, 3 rebounds, but defensively, teams are seeing green when they see him. And jury's still out. I got to see more of a sample size, but so far I'm not seeing very good lateral ability at the NBA level from him. He was 6 for 11 in this game and 2 for 4 from 3. I also thought Austin Reeves made some really big threes in this one. 19 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists on 6 for 12 shooting and 5 for 9 from deep. And then LeBron James did get his triple-double, 15 points, 16 rebounds, and 12 assists, but I thought his defense was atrocious, just like non-existent on that back line, and he turned the ball over plenty. 7 turnovers, but 15, 16, and 12 on 6 for 12 shooting, 1 for 4 from 3, 2 for 4 from the foul line in 38 minutes. Still, 4 triple-doubles at his age is amazing. And then AD, his highest scoring game of the season thus far, 40 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 2 turnovers on 14 for 26 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, and 10 for 12 from the foul line. He was an absolute beast, but I will say that there is a serious problem with the Lakers defensively. They cannot stay in front of the ball. Anthony Davis, and I'm going to keep an eye out on this. I'm not going to say this just yet, but I'm not seeing the same rim deterrence as last year. And maybe that's because the point of attack defense is worse and he's having to guard 2 guys at once. Maybe it's because the last 2 games I watched, Rui Hachimura was out and they just look so much smaller because outside of LeBron, they don't really have another power forward. I don't know. But it just feels as though guys are getting more of what they want on defense. I'm sorry, on the offensive end against them. But it was a good win for the Lakers against the Spurs there. That gives them 4 wins in a row after taking advantage of that 3-game homestand against Philly, Toronto, and Memphis. Now, the last game I watched and where we're going to end the show tonight is at New Orleans. New Orleans is very injured, right? Very injured. The most injured team in the league. But Brandon Boston Jr. has been hooping. My boy Brandon. And he's actually been handling the ball in pick and roll, showing that he's an NBA player, which makes me even more mad that we let him go. And does that mean I think he would be getting minutes right now in our rotation? Probably not. Although I asked this question on Locked On, and I'm going to ask you. Would you rather have Brandon Boston than KPJ? And do you trust him to create good shots the way KPJ has created some good shots this season for us? Because I'm just unhappy that we let go of a young talent that I think could be an NBA player. Yes, the Pelicans suck, but he's been one of their better players. And he did some good things in this game. And he led a very good win against Denver right before this. But it was a putrid start, and the Lakers are getting off to some really lazy starts defensively. It cost them the game against Detroit. They did it against Toronto, and they got away with it because they suck. And they got away with it against San Antonio, and they got away with it against New Orleans. But they're down 10 points at halftime of this game. They're down 30-21 in the first quarter because they're not rebounding. Anthony Davis has had some games where he does not rebound for certain stretches, but then he has other games where he gets every rebound in sight. So I don't know, but he was rebounding. The Lakers are struggling on the glass early on. Brandon Ingram was a matchup problem because if LeBron, he's older, he's not going to guard the best players. So Max Christie, who got inserted back into the starting lineup, Cam Reddish had a right lower leg injury, didn't play, had to guard him. And Max, outside of getting the huge offensive rebound at the end of the game that ended up clinching the win, I don't think he was too great, but he was good defensively. Just offensively, he wasn't very good. Just 2 points for him on 1 for 6 shooting, 0 for 3 from deep, but he did have 3 rebounds, an assist, 2 steals, and a block, so he contributed in other ways. Austin Reeves had a very bad shooting game. Just couldn't hit. 10 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal on 3 for 15 shooting, 2 for 9 from 3, and 2 for 2 from the foul line. Anthony Davis was dominant yet again, finishing around the basket. The mid-range is looking good. 31 points, 14 boards, 1 assist, 2 steals, a block. The guy just anchors everything. 12 for 20 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3. Another game with multiple threes. Billy Mack was saying in commentary that's 5 straight games with multiple threes. 5 for 7 from the foul line in 37 minutes. And then LeBron, I thought he was not playing well at all on both ends of the floor. But then in the fourth quarter, he had those 2 threes late in the game that sealed the deal. And then he hit a big free throw He had 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. He did have 6 turnovers, so he's been getting very, very loose with the ball. And what was I going to say? His triple-double streak ended there at 4. 8 for 19 from the field for him, 2 for 7 from 3, but those 2 threes were massive, so you got to give him credit. He was clutch, 3 for 5 from the foul line. And I thought D'Angelo Russell actually had some big plays defensively in the fourth quarter. Had one good defensive stop, one-on-one defensively, and then I believe he had a steal. 7 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists, and a steal for D'Lo on 2 for 5 shooting, 1 for 3 from deep. You also got some good minutes from Christian Koloko, 6 points, 6 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and a block for him on 3 for 4 shooting. Played a little drop coverage when he was in. And also, Anthony Davis was hedging the screens on Ingram, and that made a difference because they wanted other guys to beat them. But Ingram almost took this game home. He was playing amazing. 32 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, and a block for BI, but he turned the ball over 7 times. Shot 11 for 23 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and 7 for 9 from the foul line. Brandon Boston, 12 points, 8 boards, 5 assists, and a steal, but he didn't shoot well. 4 for 12 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3. That Yves Missy guy is very active on the glass. I kind of like him. He was the 21st pick in the draft. Here's also what I have to say about the Lakers, right? So 5 wins in a row for them. And at that point, they're 9-4. Gabe Vincent's been terrible this season. He misses all his open shots. They have no power forward without Rui Hachimura. They really miss Vanderbilt like badly. Their defense is not good enough, staying in front of the ball. And then since they moved D'Lo to the bench, it's been a lot more of less motion and less high post work and delay stuff with AD and LeBron and more pick and roll. And that's been part of why LeBron has gotten triple doubles. It's like kind of put him back in that point guard role because you're taking D'Lo out, so you're not giving him the on-ball reps. And also when you have D'Lo and Reeves, 2 very good 3-point shooters out there, JJ's thinking, how can I use LeBron off the ball to make these guys better? Using LeBron to set a lot more screens, a lot of back screens, but you're not seeing that as much with this new change of D'Lo off the bench. You're seeing more LeBron on ball, and I think he might be even doing a little too much, but we'll see how. I mean, they've won 5 games in a row at the point that I've watched. I haven't watched these last couple of games, so I will give you an update on that. And also, one action the Lakers start off almost every time is a horns action where they have 2 guys at the elbow, right, where the ball handler can go off a screen off any one of them, but it usually starts with an entry pass to one side, and then he goes the other way, takes the back screen, and then if the back screen cut is not there, they get into a dribble handoff. Notice that. That's how the Lakers start a lot of their offensive sets. But anyway, that's it for me in this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed the little Laker check-in and the Clipper breakdown. When will I be live next? Honestly, probably Friday, because I don't think I'll be caught up with the Lakers. So I'm going to take these next couple of days, keep watching, and hopefully be back on track. On Friday, I will be going live after Clippers Wolves. Now to the live subscribers waiting patiently in the chat. Super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. Check out my most recent videos as well as Basketball and Figueroa, the only podcast talking Lakers, Clippers, and Sparks. All righty.